Hey y'all, this is one of those stories where the more you learn, the worse it gets. Bryan Kohberger just released a breakdown of the massive new lawsuit tied to the Idaho murders, and it raises a terrifying question. Were their warning signs so obvious that this never should have happened? Because according to the lawsuit, people weren't just uncomfortable around Bryan Kohberger, they were scared of him. And Washington State University, the allegation is that they saw it, documented it, and still did nothing. Let's talk about exactly what Bryan Kohberger reported, and then we'll break down why this lawsuit matters legally, not just emotionally. Bryan explains that the families of all 4 University of Idaho victims have now filed a joint civil lawsuit against Washington State University. That alone is significant. All 4 families coming together in one legal action. According to Bryan, the lawsuit claims WSU failed to act on repeated warnings about Bryan Kohberger's behavior while he was a graduate student and a teaching assistant there. And the heart of the lawsuit is this question: if WSU had acted sooner, could these murders have been prevented? That's not speculation. That's the legal theory behind the case. Bryan states in his report that the lawsuit alleges more than a dozen complaints were made about Kohberger, many by women, describing behavior that was harassing, intimidating, stalking-like, predatory, and these complaints weren't casual or vague. They were specific enough that women requested security escorts. Some changed their routines to avoid being alone with him. Faculty discussed him internally as a serious concern. And here's the part that hits hard for me. This wasn't one awkward interaction. This was a pattern, and patterns matter legally. 1 complaint? Easy to dismiss. 13? That's a red flag factory. Bryan explains that the lawsuit claims WSU had a formal threat assessment process, something many universities now use to identify potentially dangerous individuals early. But according to the families, WSU didn't properly use that system with Kohberger. Instead, the lawsuit alleges that WSU continued employing him, continued paying him, provided housing and tuition benefits, kept him in the Pullman-Moscow community, all while complaints were piling up. And this is where the lawsuit gets especially serious, because once a university has a threat assessment process, they don't just have a choice, they have a duty to use it. Failing to follow your own safety protocols is where civil liability lives. Bryan also says that the lawsuit includes alleged statements from faculty members who were deeply concerned about Kohberger. According to the complaint, some faculty believed he posed a risk to women, his behavior was escalating, he should not be allowed to continue in the program. There's even an allegation that a faculty member worried about future harm if he remained in academia. That's chilling, because this wasn't hindsight after the murders. These concerns were allegedly raised before November 13th, 2022. And when professionals trained in criminology are raising alarms, that matters. Bryan also points out something that is especially unsettling. According to the lawsuit, after the murders but before Kohberger was publicly named, some people at WSU allegedly suspected him. There are claims that people noticed scratches or injuries, his behavior stood out immediately, yet no report was made to law enforcement. I want to be careful here because suspicion alone isn't evidence. But legally, the lawsuit isn't saying they should have arrested him, it's saying they should have acted on the risk sooner. Those are very different claims. So here's what Bryan makes clear, and this is key. The lawsuit isn't about proving Kohberger's guilt. That's for criminal court. This is about foreseeability and negligence. The families are arguing that the danger was foreseeable. WSU had actual notice. WSU had tools to intervene. And WSU failed to act. If a jury agrees with that, WSU could be found civilly liable, even though they didn't commit the crime. This case is going to force a very uncomfortable conversation, not just about Bryan Kohberger, but about institutional responsibility. Because if the allegations in this lawsuit are even partially true, then this wasn't a sudden, unpredictable tragedy. It was a slow-moving failure. Universities can't just document risk, they have to respond to it. And this lawsuit may end up reshaping how schools handle warning signs moving forward. Let me know your thoughts on what Bryan had to say. I will be sure to link his entire report in the description below. And that's it for this recap. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching and supporting me. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell so you don't miss any of my recaps. And remember, stay safe, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.